Story time. I think I wanted to wait to bother telling this story because it's one of those things where it kind of hurt, But now we are um, super pregnant and due in May, and baby is perfectly fine and doing great. So I thought it would be time to tell the story. I don't hear a whole lot about miscarriages other than somebody's had one, but it's still kind of taboo on people wanting to talk about it, which means I really didn't know a whole lot. I knew that, things happened and expel and whatever, but didn't really know the actual process. Went to the doctor and they gave me a medication. I guess you can take it orally or whoop. So then I went the whoop because apparently that's faster acting, and it was like, oh, it'll happen within like 3 to 4 hours. And I was like, oh, okay, it's 6 p.m. I'm or 4 p.m. whatever it was. I'll take it now, and then that way I can go to bed at a decent hour still. That's not how that works. So like 6 or 7 hours, and then you go into like it's kind of a mini labor because I do have a 17-year-old daughter. So I've been pregnant before, so I know what labor feels like. That's another story for another time. If you're really interested in that one, you just let me know in the comments. But so it was quite a few hours later, and it wasn't until I feel like 9, 10 o'clock at night when it was just like, oh, this is labor, like not like pregnancy labor, but like pretty close. I would say, like, think the worst period cramps you've had plus like a little bit of labor, if you know what that feels like. And it sucks. Anyway, I was trying really hard not to wake people up while it was happening. Not that they didn't know, don't think anything of it. I was just like, no, I got this. I got this. Everybody go to bed. Don't worry about it. So hours and hours and hours. And then finally, obviously, if this bothers you, maybe don't listen anymore. Just I'll try to minimal graphics. Anyway, so then you're on the toilet, and I'm just praying that don't let me see anything. Now I technically miscarried at like 8 or 9 weeks, but I didn't know until like 12, 13 weeks. So there wasn't a whole lot to see, which was that's great. Thank God. But anyway, so then things happened. I thought I was good. The labor stuff stopped, and so I was like, okay, I'll put on a big old pad and go to bed. If you're ever going through this, have Depends and put like pee pads, multiples underneath you when you're sleeping, because just like after birth, you ain't done. So suffice to say, sheets were ruined. I was able to clean the mattress. That was great, but and there was a lot of obviously emotional trauma. Again, we're at like almost a year ago now, and again, we're having a great old pregnancy now, so I'm pretty good at moving forward, we'll say. Not moving on, just moving forward. So anyway, then wake up and I'm like, oh, here we are. Okay, clean up. And yeah, so we're Depends the next few nights and got some doggy pee pads because they're cheaper. And it was like, okay, so as long as these things happen and you don't get any like blood clots that are bigger than I guess like a toonie or whatever, and everything seems to have passed within a period of time, like you're good to go. And I'm like, okay, cool. And it's gonna be like a really big heavy period when you're done. Oh, okay, cool, no problem. But then it kept going for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I was like, hey, how long is this period supposed to be? And they're like, this seems too long. Let's see what the hospital thinks. So I get a call from whatever section in the hospital, and they're like, hey, this sounds a little bit more than necessary. We need to get you in for a D&C. Look up D&C. It's a long couple of words. I have no idea. But I was like, okay, cool. What the hell is a D&C? And it's just like, oh, well, basically, we're going to just remove all the excess blood and tissue that's still inside of you. And basically, how I describe it is they're going to vacuum out your uterus, but they still call it a surgery. And for anybody that doesn't know me, being put under happened one time from wisdom teeth, and the poor doctors, I'm scared of that. That's another story too. If you're interested in that, you let me know. So I went. Luckily, they were like, hey, we can get you in today. And I'm like, okay, work, I gotta go. My work has been amazing. Again, another thing if you want to know that. So left, went to the hospital, which was really great because I had no time to like think about the fact that I was being put under. And also, the person that put me under was from my church. Good gravy. I was so happy. I was like, best case scenario, the good Lord knew I needed somebody I knew. Anyway, and was put under for like 15, 20 minutes or whatever for the procedure itself. And I hyperventilated a little when it started happening, but we're good. So yeah, out my uterus. And then when I woke up, I was like, oh, okay, I'm awake. Hey, here we are. There's my husband. Hello. And apparently my body doesn't like to be put under, because afterwards I body went into like hyper shock, and I just could not get warm. I've never been so shaky and cold in my entire life. And my mom and my husband, and they were just like putting the blankets on me, and I was like just shaking like freaking crazy. So anyway, then I went into the shower because I was like, this isn't happening. They have like a hot water tank that I've never used the hot water so long that you run out of hot water, because it's a good tank, 45 minutes of hot water, and I finally was warm. Yeah, and then just like the next couple of days, you're definitely like not feeling great. Again, you had something go, and then all that. Uh, it sucked. Emotionally was worse. I didn't know any of that. Never heard of a D&C. Never knew, never knew any of it. And from the other side of things was, as even though we say it's a miscarriage, it still on paper is called an abortion, which I'm not gonna lie, that one really hurt when I heard one doctor say that. Whatever, because again, I'm just like, but I'm not aborting, right? I didn't have a choice. So, but that did make me think, if you're thinking of aborting a child within the first 3 months, for whatever your reasons are, that's not my prerogative. But just know it's not a simple task. It's not just, oh, let's abort the child, let's take the meds either whoop or whoop, and then no, apparently D&Cs are quite common. Apparently a lot of people actually don't expel everything on their own, and they have to go in, go, and then it's it's something, I tell you. Anyway, in a few days we're paying for another ultrasound. We're in Canada, but if you want a gender reveal only because you're 21 weeks didn't tell you, you gotta pay for that. So anyway, we're going to that, and hopefully we'll know the gender in a few days. So happy news. If you want to know anything else, comment or whatever. Thanks.